Your Honor.
You tell us their names?
Roberto?
I'm on with the video.
Roberto? Alberto? Torres and Hernandez.
Okay. Was that Hernandez or Fernandez?
Hernandez.
Okay.
I'm sorry, sir. What was the second name that you mentioned?
It's spelled Ortiz.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And they're all on the male side, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after we finish the script, we'll do those three first, so that Ms. Charles can go about her day. Good morning, everyone.
Buenos días a todos. Buenos días a todos. Good morning.
This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County.
Esta audiencia es su comparecencia inicial ante la Sala Menor del Tribunal de Primera Instancia en el Condado de Clayton.
My name is Brad Gardner, and I am a judge in this court.
Me llamo Brad Gardner y soy un juez en este tribunal.
I am not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case.
No estoy aquí para llevar a cabo un juicio en su caso ni aceptar una declaración a acusaciones.
I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you.
Estoy aquí para informarles de las acusaciones formuladas en su contra,
to advise you of certain rights,
para informarle de ciertos derechos,
to set bail on those offenses that I am authorized to set bail,
para imponerles fianza para los delitos los cuales tengo la autorización de imponer fianza,
to schedule a preliminary hearing,
para programar su audiencia preliminar,
and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney.
y también para determinar si ustedes requieren el asesoramiento de un abogado.
You have the right to remain silent and say nothing.
Tienen derecho a permanecer callados sin decir nada.
But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial.
Pero si eligen renunciar a ese derecho, cualquier cosa que digan durante esta diligencia se puede usar en su contra si el caso procede a juicio.
So please don't discuss the facts of your case.
Entonces, por favor, no hable de los hechos de su caso.
During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights.
Durante esta diligencia y cualquier diligencia futura, tiene los siguientes derechos.
The right to the presumption of innocence,
El derecho a ser presunto inocente,
the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors,
el derecho a que se le forman cargos mayores a través del jurado de indagación cuando se trata de delitos mayores o que proceden en su contra con una acusación general cuando se trata de infracciones menores.
the right to a speedy and public trial by jury,
El derecho a un juicio sin demora y público ante un jurado.
the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you,
El derecho a ver, a escuchar y a interrogar los testigos convocados a declarar en su contra.
the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf,
El derecho a obligar que comparezcan testigos para que declaren a su favor.
the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense,
El derecho de usted mismo presentar testimonio en su propia defensa o presentar pruebas.
the right to have an attorney represent you.
El derecho a un abogado que lo represente.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify.
Si no tiene los medios para contratar un abogado, si cumple los requisitos, se le puede designar uno de oficio.
Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail.
Algunos de ustedes serán permitidos depositar fianzas sin restricciones para salir profesionalmente de la cárcel.
The bonds may be cash, commercial, or property.
La fianza la podría depositar en efectivo utilizando una compañía comercial de fianzas o poniendo de garantía un inmueble.
If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office.
Si va a depositar su fianza en efectivo, alguien tendrá que entregar el total a la fianza más los recargos administrativos que corresponden a la oficina del sheriff del condado.
The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case.
La oficina del sheriff guardará el dinero y se lo devolverá cuando se termine el caso.
If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service.
Si utiliza una compañía comercial de fianzas, alguien tendría que pagar una tarifa de servicio a la compañía.
The fee will not be returned.
Esa tarifa no se devuelve.
I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually based upon a percentage of the bond.
No sé cuál sería la tarifa que se le va a cobrar, pero normalmente se basa en un porcentaje de la fianza total.
Finally, if you use property to post a bond,
Luego, si decide usar un inmueble para tramitar su fianza,
the property will need to have a net equity at least 3 times the total amount of the bond.
ese inmueble tiene que contar con un patrimonio neto de por lo menos 3 veces lo que es el valor de la fianza.
Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places.
Algunos de ustedes tendrán fianzas que conllevan condiciones especiales, las cuales prohíben que tengan contacto con ciertas personas o que vayan a ciertos lugares.
This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form.
Las condiciones especiales se le van a proporcionar en un formulario separado.
You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail.
También se le prohíbe contactar a la víctima mientras está detenido en la cárcel.
If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you can remain in jail until your trial.
Si incumple esta orden judicial, su fianza quedará revocada y permanecerá detenido en la cárcel hasta su juicio.
You could also receive additional felony charges.
Y también se le puede formular acusaciones mayores adicionales.
It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond.
Es importante señalar que si una persona figura como la víctima de su caso, a esa persona no se le permite depositar la fianza por usted.
Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail.
Algunos de ustedes están acusados de delitos por los cuales yo como juez no tengo la autorización de imponerle fianza.
In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County.
Si este es su caso, entonces una audiencia para determinar fianza se señalará ante un juez superior del condado de Clayton.
And you will be informed of that new court date.
Y a usted se le va a informar de esa nueva fecha de audiencia.
If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time.
Si actualmente está cumpliendo una condena de libertad condicional, no tengo la autorización de imponerle fianza en este momento.
Whether bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest.
Si es apropiado imponerle fianza, esa decisión se tomará una vez que su agente de libertad condicional ha tenido la oportunidad de considerar su nuevo arresto o nuevas acusaciones en este caso.
The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you.
El propósito de una audiencia preliminar es para determinar si existe motivo fundado para sustentar las acusaciones en su contra.
Standard at this stage is very low.
El estándar de lo que hay que demostrar en esa etapa de tribunal es muy bajo.
A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred.
Para que un juez determine si una acusación siga en pie en esta etapa del proceso judicial, solamente tiene que determinar que es posible que el delito sí se cometió.
Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing.
Todos pueden renunciar a su derecho a una audiencia preliminar.
However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing.
Sin embargo, debería consultar con un abogado primero si no está seguro si es apropiado renunciar a la audiencia preliminar o no.
If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived.
Y si usted deposita fianza, la audiencia preliminar se renuncia automáticamente.
You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date.
Recibirá notificación de la próxima audiencia en la dirección que usted deja en la cárcel.
Finally, I need everyone to raise their right hand.
Todos, necesito por favor que levanten la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that any statements you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Juran o afirman que lo que vayan a declarar en esta audiencia será la verdad y toda la verdad ante Dios lo jura.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's start with the three Spanish-speaking individuals.
Comencemos con los tres hispanohablantes, por favor.
One female, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
One female also.
Okay, and who is the female?
Say no. Lopez.
Okay, we'll do the three males, and then we'll come to Ms. Lopez, so then we can just switch or stay with the ladies.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see. I think we lost the male side.
Sir, can we do Lopez?
Yes, let's go ahead and do Lopez. Ms. Lopez, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señora López, ¿puede usted oír y entender a la intérprete?
Sí.
Yes.
Ms. Lopez, you've been charged with 2 offenses.
Señora López, ¿se le ha formulado 2 infracciones?
The first one is driving a vehicle with no tail lights. The bond is going to be set at $500.
La primera es conducir un auto sin luces traseras. A la fianza para esta infracción son $500.
The second offense is driving a vehicle with no license. The bond is going to be set at $1,000.
Y la segunda infracción es conducir un vehículo sin licencia y la fianza para esta infracción son $1,000.
The total bond is going to be $1,500. Do you believe you can pay that bond?
La fianza total será $1,500. ¿Piensa que sí va a poder depositar la fianza, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
You're going to have a hearing date set for April 13th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out.
Se señala su audiencia para el 13 de abril a las 8:30 de la mañana, pero esa audiencia se va a renunciar una vez que usted salga en libertad bajo fianza.
And you will receive a new court date in the mail.
Y luego después usted recibirá notificación de su próxima audiencia por correo.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Señora, quisiera que yo determine si usted cumple requisitos para un abogado.
¿De oficial? ¿De oficio?
A court-appointed attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Sí, señora.
No.
No.
Do you plan on representing yourself or hiring your own lawyer?
¿Es su intención seguir en representación propia o contratar a su propio abogado, señora?
Contratar.
To hire an attorney.
Okay. If you don't have any questions of me, you're free to go back, ma'am.
Está bien, señora. Si no tiene preguntas para mí, ya se puede retirar. Gracias.
Una pregunta.
One question.
Si lo entendí bien. Se va a cancelar una segunda audiencia aquí y me va a llegar una por correo.
One question to make sure I understand this well. A second hearing will be canceled here, but then I'll get notice of a new hearing in the mail?
Yes, ma'am.
Así es, señora.
Está bien. Gracias.
That's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gracias, señora. De nada.
Ms. Tolles, I'm gonna
Yes, sir.
ask you to hang on for a minute.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're just gonna keep going with the females until the feed comes back up on the male side.
Okay, I'll just stop my video during the time and I'll be waiting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's continue with the females until we can get back connected on the male side.
Yes, sir.
Clark?
Sir.
Well, I have mine in alphabetical order, but
Okay.
whatever. Okay. I was gonna say I have Makita Clark.
Keita Clark.
Uh-huh. Ms. Clark, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime and 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of a felony amount of marijuana. The bond for the weapon is going to be set at $10,000, and the bond for the drug charge is going to be set at $5,000. So that's going to be a total bond of $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond now?
No, sir.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning. It's going to be over a Zoom call like we're having here today. But if you bond out, that hearing is going to get waived. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, or do they have anything for reduced, like a program or something?
No, we don't. The way that your bond can get reduced or changed is that if the district attorney's office consents to a bond, if your lawyer contacts them and tries to get the bond reduced, they can consent to it, and they'll present your lawyer in the district attorney's office will present a consent bond order to a judge, and the judge will sign it. It looks like you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No, sir. All I have to do is just be born and I can be free.
Yes, ma'am. I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies that are authorized to write bonds in this county because they will work with you. I mean, that is literally their only business is to help people to get out of jail. And I know some bonding companies will even put you on a payment plan. So I would encourage you to do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have Laquita Jordan. Are you Miss Jordan?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you've been charged with 5 offenses. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The bond is going to be set at $1,500 for that. Use or possession of drug-related objects. The bond is going to be set at $1,500. Obstructing an officer. The bond is going to be set at $2,000. And impeding traffic. The bond is going to be set at $500 for a total bond of $10,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes, but I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I did not obstruct the officer. So what's like obstruction of officer? Because I had no contact with the officer.
Let me see.
So they could please drop it because I didn't touch the officer.
Well, this is at this stage, I don't determine whether something is true or false. I look at it to determine whether it is possible that it could occur. The next stage is where charges are actually looked into, because there's both sides are going to be there. So at this stage, I take what you tell me is true, and I take what's in the signed affidavit is true. And then I just decide the bond amount to appoint a lawyer and to set court dates.
Okay, I could post bond.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, Ms. Jordan. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions of me, ma'am?
Sir, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I said, do you have any other questions of me?
No, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we're gonna pause on the ladies' side and the feed for the males are back up. So let's do the three males so we can let Ms. Tolles go about her day. Okay, let's have Mr. Alberto. Mr. Alberto, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Señor Alberto, ¿puede usted oír y entender al intérprete? Yes.
Mr. Alberto, you've been charged with 1 count of aggravated assault and 1 count of murder.
Señor Alberto, a usted se le acusa de un delito de agresión con agravantes y otro delito de homicidio.
At this stage, I am unable to set bond on these offenses.
En esta etapa, yo no le puedo imponer fianza por los delitos imputados.
I've set a preliminary hearing date for April 16th. I'm sorry, April 14th at 8:30 in the morning.
Pero sí programé su audiencia preliminar para el 14 de abril a las 8:30 de la mañana.
And I've set a bond hearing date for April 16th at 8:30 in the morning.
Y su audiencia para determinar fianza se señala se señala para el 16 de abril a las 8:30 de la mañana.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Señor, quisiera que yo vea si usted reúne requisitos para un abogado de oficio.
Pues creo mi familia me va a poner un abogado.
Well, my family is going to get me an attorney.
Okay.
Está bien.
Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Alberto?
¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta para mí, señor Alberto?
No.
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Muy bien, ya se puede retirar. Gracias. Thank you.
Tell me your name, sir.
Dígame su nombre, por favor, señor. The interpreter didn't hear you, Your Honor. May I ask him to repeat, please?
Yes.
¿Cómo dice, señor? Perdón, no escuché bien.
It's Hernandez. Hernandez, John.
Okay. Mr. Hernandez,
Señor Hernández,
you have been charged with 1 count of running a red light
a usted se le acusa de una infracción de pasarse a un semáforo en rojo
and 1 count of driving a vehicle with no license.
también una infracción de conducir sin licencia.
The total bond for these offenses is going to be set at $1,500.
La fianza total para esas infracciones son $1,500, señor.
Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
¿Piensa que sí puede depositar la fianza, señor?
Mi esposa lo podría pagar.
Yes, my wife can pay it.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Y quisiera que yo vea si usted reúne requisitos para un abogado, señor. No.
Okay. You're going to have a court date set for April 13th.
Muy bien, señor. Su próxima audiencia se señala para el 13 de abril.
That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you will get a new date in the mail.
Pero esta audiencia se renuncia una vez que salga en libertad bajo fianza y le notificará de su próxima audiencia por correo, señor.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer or representing yourself?
¿Tiene la intención de contratar a su propio abogado o va a seguir en representación propia, señor?
¿Representación por qué?
I'm going to represent myself.
Okay.
Está bien.
If you don't have any questions of me, Mr. Hernandez, you're free to go back.
Si no tiene más preguntas, señor, ya se puede retirar.
No.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
Gracias, señor.
This is Ortiz, John, or Badillo.
Okay. Thank you. So I was looking for the Ortiz and couldn't find it. Mr. Ortiz, can you hear and understand the interpreter?
Muy bien, señor Ortiz. ¿Puede usted oír y entender al intérprete?
Sí.
Yes.
Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle without a license.
¿Se le acusa, señor, de una infracción de conducir sin licencia?
Sí.
Yes.
The bond for that offense is set at $1,000.
La fianza para esta infracción es $1,000.
Sí.
Yes.
Do you know if your family has already paid your bond?
¿Sabe, señor, si su familia ya pagó la fianza?
No sé, no he hablado.
I don't know. I haven't spoken to them.
Okay. You're going to have a court date set for April 13th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out.
Usted tendrá una audiencia programada para el 13 de abril, pero esta audiencia se renuncia una vez que salga bajo fianza.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Quisiera que yo determine si usted cumple requisitos para un abogado, señor.
Pues no sé, y luego le quiero preguntar a usted con todo respeto si los pagan antes, ¿puedo salir antes de la corte?
Well, I don't know. I wanted to ask if it's paid beforehand, can I get out before the court date?
Yes, your bond, yes.
Sí, señor. Si se paga la fianza, sí.
Oh, sí, está bien, nomás que
Oh, okay.
a ver si vienen a pagar.
To see if they come to pay it.
Okay. So do you plan on representing yourself?
Está bien, señor. ¿Y usted va a seguir en representación propia? ¿Su intención seguir en representación propia?
Sí,
Yes.
Okay. If you don't have any questions of me, Mr. Baldulio Ortiz, you have the right to go back.
Muy bien, señor. Si no tiene más preguntas para mí, señor Batillo Ortiz, ya puede regresar, puede retirarse.
muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Está bien.
Ms. Tolles, it looks like that's all. Thank you again for your service. Have a good weekend.
Certainly. Thank you. Same to you all.
Okay, let's go back to the ladies.
Okay.
Is this Ms. Kuntz?
Ms. Cook?
Ma'am, you've been charged with one count of driving on a suspended license. The bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. About how much do you make per hour?
I started my new job yesterday.
Okay. And how much were you supposed to be paid per hour?
10.
Okay. You do qualify, Ms. Kuntz, I'm sorry, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're gonna have a preliminary, excuse me, preliminary hearing date set for April 13th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will be waived upon your bonding out. I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies that the list that the sheriff's office has. The bonding companies will work with you. And some of them will even offer payment plans. So don't just resign yourself to sitting here in jail. Okay? Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back. Mercado? Are you Miss Mercado?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you've been charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property, namely a vehicle. The bond is going to be set at $20,000 for that. You believe you can post this bond?
No, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. But like I told the other individuals, I would reach out to the bonding companies and tell them your charge and your bond amount and see if they will work with you.
Okay.
You have any questions for me?
No, I don't, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Ms. Posey?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Posey, you've been charged with 5 drug-related offenses and 1 use or possession of drug-related objects. And I think you have another person that was also on this calendar that was charged with the exact same thing. At this time, there's an indication on your criminal history that you're on probation. So I can't set a bond for the felony offenses at this hearing. It doesn't mean you're not going to get a bond.
I'm not on probation that I know of.
That's what it was indicating. It also indicated that there's a warrant for your arrest out of Douglas County for violation of probation. So those are things that you may want to look into. I have to go what's on the official sheet that I receive, and that's what's listed. So when that's listed, I can't go behind that. I have to follow it. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? You do qualify, Ms. Posey, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. The only misdemeanor charge was use or possession of drug-related objects. I did set a bond on that at $1,500. You're going to have a court date, preliminary hearing date set for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning, and that's going to be over Zoom hearing like we're having here today.
Okay.
And I'm going to set a bond hearing date for April 16th.
Okay.
Now, if you believe that this is an error and that you are not on probation, you need to either have someone reach out to Douglas County or have your lawyer reach out to Douglas County, because that is where it appears that this is coming from. But like I said before, it also listed that there's a warrant pending for your arrest for violation of probation out of Douglas County. Okay? Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
I'm not sure. I have to figure out what's going on.
Okay. You're free to go back, ma'am. Ms. Robbins?
Wow. Yeah. Come on. Oh,
She's coming down.
Okay. Ms. Robbins, you've been charged with 1 count of loitering or prowling and 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. The bond for the loitering or prowling charge is going to be set at $1,000. And the bond for the violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act is going to be set at $5,000 for a $6,000 total bond. Do you believe you can post that bond? Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
sure.
Did you say yes?
Yes.
Okay. You do qualify, Ms. Robbins. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning. And like I've told the other individuals, I would reach out to the bonding companies to see if they will post a bond on your behalf. Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Stewart. Ms. Stewart, you've been charged with a number of driving-related offenses and 2 drug-related offenses. Driving a vehicle with an obscured license plate is going to be set at $500. Driving a vehicle with the expired tag, bond is going to be set at $500. Driving a vehicle with the window tint too dark, the bond is set at $500. Giving a false name, address, or date of birth, bond is going to be set at $2,000. Driving a vehicle without a valid license, the bond is going to be set at $1,000. Possession of marijuana less than an ounce, the bond is set at $1,500. And violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, I'm setting the bond at $5,000. So that's a total bond of $11,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning, and that'll be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you do qualify, Ms. Stewart, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, so you said that total was 11 what?
11,000.
11,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Do you have any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am. Ms. Tejada?
Yeah.
Good morning, ma'am. You've been charged with 1 count of battery. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. The bond is going to be set at $2,500. And 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The bond is set at $1,500. So that's going to be a total bond of $9,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No.
Okay. There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from a Tonisha Williams. And I believe Ms. Williams was arrested also. And she's going to have a stay away provision to stay away from you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 13th at 8:30 in the morning. And that'll be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. And like I've said to the other ladies, I would encourage you to contact the bonding companies and just at least see if they will work with you so that you can get out of jail. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
I got a lot of questions actually.
Okay.
They got a phone call over there. And they went off the phone call, and when they came and asked what was going on, we let them know there wasn't nothing going on. So they started arresting us. And because I guess we couldn't get on no story, they just arrested us. And yeah, I don't understand it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Mind anything like that.
Let me ask you this. You want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. This stage right here is an early stage in the case. If what you're telling me is true, charges probably will be dismissed. But I can't do that at this stage because it's not a time for me to determine whether you are guilty or innocent. But the law firm is going to be Lister and Holt, Lister, second word Holt, Holt. They're going to get this information today that they've been appointed to represent you. And today is a Friday, so it may take until Monday. But this information will be entered into the system. And I would encourage you to contact them and let them know that they have been appointed to represent you and that you need to speak to a lawyer and tell them this, and they will work on your behalf.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions for me, ma'am?
And you said how much in all?
The total is $9,000.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Miss Williams? Miss Williams, you're in the same boat almost as Miss Tejada. The only difference is that your third charge is obstructing an officer and not possession of marijuana. So you're going to have a total bond of $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
No.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Ma'am, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. And I would give you the same advice as I gave Ms. Tejada as it relates to contacting bonding companies. You're also going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 13th, 8:30 in the morning. Do you have any questions of me?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back, ma'am. Is that the last person?
No, sir. You have one more, Freya Sanders?
Sanders.
Sandra, I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, okay. I have you listed on my paperwork as a male. I apologize for that. Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The bond is going to be set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, I had to contact my father.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 13th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
Okay. You're going to represent yourself or hire your own lawyer?
I represent myself.
Okay. If you don't have any questions of me, ma'am, you're free to go back.
I have one question, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Is nothing I can do because there was a mommy on it. So it's nothing I can do but pay this bond and get out of jail, right?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
That's the quickest way to get yourself to freedom. Because if you know that you didn't do this, sitting in jail trying to fight it, you may be sitting there for a while.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, free to go back. That's it.
That's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good weekend. All right, we're ready for the mails.
Morning, Your Honor. Jermaine Bagley.
Mr. Bagley. So I was able to reach your lawyer yesterday, and he said that he would reach out to your family about these new charges.
Okay.
Because he said he hadn't been retained on the new charges. So I don't see him here. So maybe your family was not able to make arrangements to hire him on this case. So I can appoint a lawyer to represent you on the interim. And if your family makes arrangements with Mr. Render, then you can fire the appointed lawyer and go with Mr. Render. Would you
Okay.
like for me to do that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer and I'm going to make a notation about Mr. Render representing you on the other charge. So I was able to get the paperwork. And these two charges come from apparently a search of your vehicle after your arrest on the other charges. And they located, I believe, maybe some marijuana, a scale, and some pills in a bag in the trunk of the car, I believe. And they sent it off to the GBI for testing, and it apparently came back as being positive for controlled drugs. And so that apparently explains the delay in your being arrested back in December and then warrants issued 2 days ago. So I am going to not set a bond on these two drug charges. You said that you were going to be in court again soon.
I'm not sure. Render, my lawyer Render was my mom. When I talked to my mom, she told me that she had talked to Render that day, and that he said that he was going to come see me. But he represents me on the other case, so I'm not sure, like, when I go back to court that I'll be able to even get a bond for it, since it's, I guess, two separate cases now.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking that question, to see, because at some point it's probably going to be better for all of this stuff to get linked up so that it's dealt with at the same time and not going back and forth. Because it's two separate cases, but it all kind of springs from the same day. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for April 14th and a bond hearing date for April 16th. But like I said, I'm going to make a notation that you have these other pending charges so that hopefully they will get linked up and dealt with all at the same time.
So, Your Honor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If I'm able to if I still have a bond hearing in a couple days or whatever, will I be able to get the bond then for these charges as well?
Well, and that's why I was trying to figure out when your court date is, because generally the bond hearing dates are on Fridays. And so you're here today, so I don't believe you would have had a bond hearing date set for today. So the good thing is that gives time for this stuff to get linked up, because all of it should be addressed at the same time and not on a piecemeal basis.
If it's linked up on a separate time and it's two different cases, I don't understand how it would work if I have to get appointed another lawyer and I have Render at the same time for the other cases. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. It's so generally in private practice, lawyers, they don't just represent you for everything, right? It's like you're hired on a certain case and that's the case that they're working on. Sometimes lawyers will say, okay, we'll work something out on a new case. And the reason for that is that, you basically, if you're attached to a person forever, you can be out there just totally working for that person. And you're only getting paid for one case. When it relates to this sort of scenario, they can get placed on the same calendar. And so even if you have two separate lawyers on two separate cases, it can be addressed at the same time on the same day.
So would they have to work together?
They don't have to, but probably will, because they both are trying to get the best outcome for you, which means they need to work together.
Okay, are these offenses bondable offenses?
They are bondable, but it's going to be something that I think needs to get dealt with at the same time.
All right, Your Honor.
Okay, you have any other questions for me, Mr. Bagley?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Okay. Jonathan Bass.
Mr. Bass, you've been charged with a number of offenses, and let's see, 5 drug-related offenses, and one, well, they're all drug-related, but one is misdemeanor, use of possession of drug-related objects. I'm setting a bond for that at $1,500, and I believe you were arrested with Miss Posey. And there is an indication on your criminal history that you are currently on probation. So I can't set a bond for the felony offenses at this stage. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for April 14th, and I'm setting a bond hearing date for April 16th. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, Mr. Bass. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
I'm not. The 2 probations I was on, I got, they're both ended. I did jail time over both of them. I haven't been on probation since.
Ms. Posey said the same thing or something similar. And in her situation, there was a warrant out for her arrest for probation violation out of Douglas. And I told her, I said, look, I can't go behind what's listed in the criminal history. But if it's not that you're on probation, you should have received an order or paperwork discharging you from probation.
Yes.
And all you need to do is present that to the lawyer. The lawyer will then present it to a judge and you can get a bond.
Does it say what county the probation is in?
Give me 1 second. It looks like it's saying out of Clayton County, sentence date was October 25th, 2018. And the case number is 2016 CR 07290.
I was dismissed from that.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm seeing.
It was supposed to be 45 days time served. And they let me go.
Yeah, it's showing, I see the 45 days and it says credit with time served.
Yes. Even the they got that mixed up in the jail and they wasn't gonna let me go, so the probation officer had to come over and tell them that that was probation was ended.
Well, and that's the thing, it'll say probation ended, like as a part of the sentence, when it says 45 days credit with time served, probation, it'll say probation ended.
I don't know why he didn't put that, but that's what happened. Even the probation officer had to come over here to get them to let me go.
Well, that you may have to do that again, because unless it says that probation is ended, I have to treat it as if the probation, that was what you were, the punishment was 45 days served.
Yeah, it was time served.
Okay. So, do you have any other questions for me, Mr. Bass?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
How are you, Joshua Charleston?
Good morning, Mr. Johnson.
Charleston?
Give me 1 second. Let me
Yes, sir.
file. And you are Douglas Johnson, correct?
No, Joshua Charleston.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Charleston, you're charged with 1 count of tampering with evidence.
Yes, sir.
The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for April 13th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out.
Okay.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I need to appoint a lawyer.
Okay. Okay, you qualify, Mr. Charleston. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
That's a misdemeanor, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have your name, sir?
Mark Anthony Donald.
Mr. Donald, you're charged with driving on a suspended license and driving a vehicle with the council tag or concealing the tag. There's going to be a total bond set of $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Are there any other options if I don't have cash to post a bond? I don't have anyone on the outside that can like physically go and take care of it.
You can use a
First time
bonding
here.
company or you can use property.
Okay, I do have a home. Do I still have to do?
It'll
ahead.
have to have equity at least $6,000.
Okay, do I have to go through the bonding company for that also, or?
No, you can go through the sheriff's department. I mean, and to be honest with you, if you want to use a bonding company, you can reach out to them and they may actually work with you.
Do I have any other options if I can't post bond today?
No, I mean, it's in order to get out, you're going to have to post a bond either through cash, a bonding company, or through the use of property.
Okay.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 13th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
All right, looks like you do qualify, Mr. Donald. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
If I don't post bond today, how long would I be here until the court date?
Yes. Now, these are relatively minor offenses. I'm appointing you a lawyer. The lawyer may be able to work something out with the solicitor. So, for example, if this is something where you believe that these charges are true, you may tell your lawyer you just want to plead guilty to this, and they'll work something out, put you on a plea calendar, and you get out.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, that'll be it. You said 2,000 for the bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I was told two different amounts.
Well, there are fees that are added on. The sheriff's department by law has to add certain fees, and I don't have access to that. So it'll be a little bit more than 2,000, but they go off of the bond that I set, and then they have to add the state mandated fees. But it's not something that I calculate, so I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You're free to go back.
George Kilgariff.
Okay, sir, you were charged with one count of giving a false name, address, or date of birth. The bond is going to be set for that at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for April 13th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
You do qualify, sir, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Oh, sorry. Douglas Johnson.
Miss Second. Mr. Johnson, you're charged with one count of aggravated assault, one count of battery, simple battery, one count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and one count of cruelty to children in the third degree. I cannot set bond on the aggravated assault charge at this stage, but I have set bonds on the other offenses. A $5,000 bond for the simple battery, a $10,000 bond for the possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, and a $5,000 bond for cruelty to children. I've also placed a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Shirlette Johnson. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for you for April 14th and a bond hearing date of April 16th. Now, do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, I'm qualified.
Okay. Okay, sir, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, I wanted to know, can I get bond out at any time on any one of the charges?
Well, because there's a no bond on the aggravated assault, you're not going to be able to bond out until that issue gets addressed. Now, it can get addressed before this preliminary hearing date that I set for April 16th. I'm sorry, bond date for April 16th. But your lawyer will have to contact the district attorney's office and see if they will consent to a bond. But given the nature of these charges, they're probably going to want to contact Ms. Johnson before they consent to a bond. And if she does not want to consent to a bond, they're probably not going to do it. Any other questions?
No, that'll be all, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome. Tell me your name, sir.
Eddie Franklin.
Give me 1 second. Mr. Franklin, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. The bond is going to be set at $1,500 for that, but you're going to have a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from a Jasmine Patterson. Do you believe you can post this bond?
Yeah.
Do you understand the stay away provision?
Yeah.
I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for April 13th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Franklin. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
You said I can do a cash bond right now?
Cash, bond, bonding company, or property.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, that's it, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you. Tell them your name.
My name Deontay Good.
Okay. Mr. Guffey,
Yes, sir.
you've been charged with a number of offenses. Criminal attempt to commit armed robbery, 3 drug-related offenses, 1 tampering with evidence charge, possession of firearm by a convicted felon, and possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. As of now, the bond is going to be denied on these felony offenses. You're going to have a $2,000 bond set on the tampering with evidence charge. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for April 14th and a bond hearing date for April 16th. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. It looks like you do qualify, Mr. Guffey. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, I just wanted to say, like, the other charges, like, what, how can I go? Cause like, it was like a guy with me and he kept on telling them like the gun or his or not mine. And like the tampering with evidence, they charged the other guy with it, but then they end up putting it up on me.
I would make sure that I tell my lawyer that, because if the guy has said that and he's willing to make a statement to that effect, then those charges will probably be dismissed.
Yes, cause it's all up on their body camera, and they saw him saying it several times.
Make sure you tell your lawyer that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Guffey?
No, sir. One more thing. I know I had an open case. Will I get through with that? Would they be able to run all of them together or what?
Yes. As long as you make sure you tell your lawyer that and everyone is made aware of it, those cases can be merged to all be dealt with at the same time. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, you're free to go back.
Anthony Harrison.
Okay. Mr. Harrison, were you on my calendar the other day?
I was here yesterday, sir. Oh, Wednesday. It was either Wednesday or Thursday.
So you're now being charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
Yes. I don't know how.
Let's see. It says that there is a gun located under the front passenger seat.
I was not aware of this, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I appointed you a lawyer that day, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure that you tell the lawyer that.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus. Do you remember if I set your date as April 12th or April 14th?
I think it was April the 16th.
That's the bond hearing. Should be bond hearing.
No, the other day was probably April the 14th.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that I put the same date down.
Okay.
On this. You're going to have a $10,000 bond set on this charge.
Okay.
And I'm giving you the April 14th date. And I'm going to make a notation that you were assigned a lawyer on, today is 26th, on the 24th. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Harrison?
No, I just wanted to know how they able to bring up another charge days later.
Well, they don't all have to be charged at the same time. Like with Mr. Bagley earlier, he was arrested back in December. And then they brought new charges on the 24th.
Yeah, but the police officer told me they was only going to charge me with the marijuana.
I mean, that's something that your lawyer can really dig into, because the lawyer will be able to cross-examine the police officer. Okay. But there's no like bar. Technically, the state has for felonies 4 years to bring a charge.
Wow. That's enough.
Yeah, that's a statute.
Now, how can I go about getting my record expunged?
That happens as a part of the whole process of either charges being dismissed.
I had got my charge dismissed. Like basically, I got convicted of a felony in 2010, and it been expunged. But now I'm still getting harassed basically because of that felony that I got convicted for. But it's supposed to be expunged.
Do you have That was in Philadelphia, right?
Yes,
Do you have the paperwork related to that?
I can get it.
You should get it and keep it with you.
Okay.
Because, you know, computers are computers and paperwork is paperwork.
But it says it on the screen, and I was telling the police officer that, and he still said, I still gotta lock you up.
It, just so you know, from what I have, it doesn't show an expungement.
Okay. No, I know. I said I have to get it expunged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, Mr.
No, that's
Harris?
it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're free to go back.
All right.
Tell me your name, sir.
Leander Harvey.
Mr. Harvey, do you know what you're being charged with?
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna set a bond for this at this time, but I'm gonna set a preliminary hearing date for you of April 16th. I'm sorry, April 14th, and a bond hearing date of April 16th. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Harvey. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Tell me your name.
Jacob Leonard.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Leonard.
This is bad. You should have been there. How you get out of line?
Okay, Mr. Leonard, you've been charged with 1 count of forgery in the fourth degree. The bond is going to be set at $10,000 for that. Do you believe you can post this bond?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 13th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, sir.
You're going to hire your own lawyer?
Oh, no, I would like one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not Leonard.
Okay, you qualify, Mr. Leonard. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, that'll be it.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Tell me your name.
Demetrius Ivy.
Mr. Ivy, you're charged with being a fugitive from justice, and that is a little bit different than some of the other cases. You're not alleged to have committed a crime here in Clayton County. It says that you are wanted out of the state of Illinois for a parole violation warrant. And they say that they will extradite. And so you have a right to a hearing to determine whether you are the Demetrius Anthony Ivy named in the warrant and whether the warrant is based upon true charges.
Right.
And you can demand a hearing, and that hearing will be held sometime within the next 30 days. But the only thing the judge is going to determine is whether you are the person named in that.
Right.
You can waive that hearing, and the clock begins to run today.
Right.
And if they don't come and get you, then you will be released. And it generally is, there's a first period of 30 days. And then if they want an extension, they can request an extension for an additional 30 days. But if they don't come and get you, then the sheriff's department here will release you. So it sounds like you kind of understand this whole process. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know what you want to do?
I wanna sign.
Okay. So they will present you with a document, the documents to sign, and then they'll send it to me and I'll sign it. And then the clock will begin to run today.
Okay, and do it got on record of what I'm a fugitive for?
It says that there's a warrant, a parole violation warrant.
Do you know what the violation is?
Let me see if I have it here. All right. It just says on my end, it just says parole violation. It looked like it was issued February 11th of this year. So I don't know. It seems like it must be some kind of technical violation, I would presume.
Right.
Or maybe, did you get permission to come to Georgia?
No.
That may be it.
I think so.
Any other questions?
No, that's all.
Okay. Sign the paperwork and then you'll be free to go back.
Marquis Mac.
Okay, Mr. Mack, you've been charged with 2 theft by receiving counts. One is a gun and one is a car, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. At this time, the bond is going to be denied on these 3 felony offenses. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning. And you're going to have a bond hearing date set for April 16th at 8:30 in the morning. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You qualify, Mr. Mack. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, what is how likely is it that I will receive a bond? Because after leaving here, I have to go and bond out somewhere else. So the process here slows up the process there.
Honestly, it's the decision made by the district attorney's office through the advocacy of your lawyer. It can happen. You have some serious charges and you have a serious history. So I don't know if they will consent or not. But sometimes they will agree to let you go deal with whatever you got to deal with someplace else and put a hold on you, and you deal with what you got to deal with there and then come back here. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Terry McDonald.
Mr. McDonald, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The bond is set automatically at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I gotta see. I gotta call somebody when I ain't make no phone call yet.
Okay, you'll be allowed to make a phone call when you leave this process. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for April 13th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. McDonald. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Appreciate it.
Tell me your name.
Isaiah McLaughlin.
Go ahead.
Mr. McLaughlin, I don't have a bond order. You were on my calendar yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir. I seen you yesterday.
And if I recall,
You
they
said
have 4
probation.
charges on the warrant and 2 on your bond order.
Yeah, I think they only charged me with 2 of them. I really didn't understand it because you told me yesterday I only had 2 charges. I know when I came here, I had 4.
Well, so just so you know, there's bond orders that I receive and that I print out, and then there are warrants that the jail has. What I received from the jail, they have 4 charges. I believe it was 2 felonies and 2 misdemeanors.
I thought it was 1 felony and 3 misdemeanors.
Hold on, I can tell you in a second. Okay, so if I remember correctly, you're right. There's 3 misdemeanors and 1 felony. No, they have possession of firearm during the commission of a crime listed as a misdemeanor, but that's a felony. The possession of marijuana less than an ounce is a misdemeanor. All right. What I'm gonna do, Mr. McLaughlin, so you're not just sitting here, I'm gonna need to get bond orders. And I will, hold on, let me see. I need to see what I did yesterday.
I know you had 2 dates for me, the 14th and the 16th.
Right. All right, so there's no bond on the possession of a firearm by a first offender because it was listing you as being on probation. So you'll get a bond set on the misdemeanor marijuana charge, but the other charge, possession of firearm during commission of a crime, that's a felony. So I'm gonna have to do the same thing as I did for the possession of firearm by a convicted felon.
You just said it was listed me as a first offender felon.
Yeah.
So that's really not, I'm not a felon yet, considerably.
You are while you're under first offender.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a bond order, setting the bond on those other two charges. Well, setting a bond on the marijuana charge, but I can't set a bond on the felony. And I'm gonna put it all on the same date. But the same thing applies, as I told you yesterday, that is something that it can get set before those dates come up, but I just can't do it.
If I have my lawyer talk to my probation officer, then they probably speed up the process.
Yes.
Also, can you tell me what county that I'm on probation on? Is it just Clayton County?
Hold on, let me go back. It's all in separate files, so I got to open up another file.
I'm sorry. Basically, I really just want to know, like, if I'm on probation with another county, but it all got moved to Clayton County, is that county, do they have rights to come get me too, or hold me?
If they don't want to deal with you, they'll just say, we don't want to deal with them.
Okay. It should tell you in the system whether I'm just on with Clayton County or Clayton and another one, right?
It might.
Okay.
Okay. So every time you're arrested, they call it a cycle. So you have 8 cycles. Let me see. The probation violation out of Fayette County.
That's what it is, out of Fayette County?
Yes.
So that Clayton County is not holding me?
I mean, well, they are now.
I'm talking about as far as the Clayton County probation. They're not holding me?
From what I'm seeing is Fayette County.
So basically I gotta wait till the preliminary. All right.
You have a 5-year probation out of Clayton Superior Court that began 2017. So it should end April 19th, 2022.
But I had 10 years with Fayette County probation, and it all got moved to Clayton. So I'm trying to figure out how am I going back to Fayette County when I'm only on probation in Clayton, really? Well,
you're on probation out of the county where you were convicted, but your supervision can get transferred anywhere.
Right.
So if you get transferred to Alabama and you're in Birmingham, and you do something that violates your probation, although you're being supervised in Birmingham, you're gonna have to come back to Fayette to deal with it.
So basically, I'm just really waiting on them to come pick me up, really, while I'm sitting here for these month and a half.
Well, the purpose of contacting them is so you know if they want to deal with you or not. If they say we don't want to deal with them, then they're not going to come get you. If they say, well, hey, yeah, we want to deal with them, then you can get it resolved while you're sitting where you are.
Basically, what I'm saying. So how do I get to that point?
The lawyer is the best way to do it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, Mr. McLaughlin?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thanks.
My name is Pate Xavier.
Sorry, say the name again.
Xavier Pate.
Okay. Mr. Pate, you have been charged with a number of offenses. Improper lane or improper turn signal, meaning not using your turn signal, improper lane change, expired or license. Each of those are $500 a piece, so that's $1,500. Then there's driving with no insurance, that's $1,000. Then $500 for license not on person, $1,500 for driving on a suspended license, $2,000 bond for giving a false name, address, or date of birth, and $2,000 for obstructing or hindering law enforcement officer. So that's a total bond of $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I do, but I had a question about that.
Sure.
It seemed like I was given 2 charges for driving on a suspended and not carrying a license, which I can't carry a license if I'm driving on a suspended.
That's true.
So would I talk to the lawyer or can that be resolved now?
You have to talk to the lawyer. It can't get resolved now. Because the unfortunate thing is that they can charge in what they call charging in the alternative. And so it's like, if I can't get them on one, I'm gonna get them on the other.
Yes, sir.
But most likely not on both.
Okay.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary date set for April 13th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Pate. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
This only question was how long till I'll be able to bond out? Is this immediate right now?
It's not immediate. It will be today. I'm the person that once this hearing is over, I have to prepare the paperwork and send it back over to the sheriff's department, and then they begin working on it. So the longer I'm in here, the longer it takes to bond out.
That's it, sir. I had no more questions.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Tell me your name, sir.
Brandon Williams.
Mr. Williams, you're charged with one count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree, and it's being charged as a felony. There's an indication on your record that you are on probation, so I can't set a bond for this at this stage. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to set you a bond hearing date of April 16th. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes. I also have a question.
Yes, sir.
They told me that they wasn't going to charge me, they wasn't going to charge it as a felony, being that it was with my mom, and she was actually on the way to take me to see my probation officer because I just got a new one, and she had just called in for me to report because I was on non-report. So I was on the way to see my probation officer right before I got arrested. My new probation officer, which is Officer Spence, she called my mother's phone and my phone. That's how the morning got started. That was the first thing to do. I was going to report to her, which is my new one, because I've been on non-report due to the COVID.
Okay.
So I didn't understand why am I being charged as a. I mean, I understand that part as far as them charging it as second degree, but I mean, I was on the way to see my probation officer. I got her number. I mean, I got her last name, and she know me and my mother, you know. But I mean, if the quicker I can get out of here, sir, the quicker I can go ahead and continue to pay my probation as I've been doing.
Well, the warrant says you kicked your mother's door and put a dent in it, and
yeah, and
hold on. That is going to be more than $500. So the threshold for misdemeanor or felony for criminal damage to property is the number, it's a dollar amount.
Okay.
So if it's under 500, it's a misdemeanor. If it's more than 500, it's a felony.
Okay, but we're on the same insurance policy. So how does that work? I mean, I have the money to pay for the damages. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll say this, Mr. Williams. Don't kick the mother's door.
Never. I love my mom. I'm ready to take her out to eat at Chili's the second I get out of here. We already talked on the phone and everything.
I know, but you're on probation.
I know, but the longer I'm in here, I can't make the payment.
I have nothing to do with that, Mr. Williams.
So, I mean, is there any way possible that I can get bonded out?
So I've appointed a lawyer to represent you. The lawyer can do this. I can't.
I understand.
I have to follow the law.
I understand.
Right? Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Williams?
No, sir. I just want you to have a marvelous day and enjoy your rest of your weekend, sir.
You too.
All right.
And Quiz Williams.
Mr. Williams, you've been charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle without a license and 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce.
Yes, sir.
Total bond is going to be $2,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
If you could possibly take it down like to 2,000 even, I could. Is that possible?
I can't. These bond amounts are set by schedule, which means that the judges sat around and decided what bonds should be for certain offenses, what bonds should be set, like automatically set. Do that so that you can, when you get arrested and brought in, if it's a schedule that's already set, you can bond yourself out, never have to see a judge.
Okay.
So I can't go below what they have already set.
Okay, I understand. I have another question for you.
Okay.
If she was paying, if I go through a bonding company and you said it's $2,500 an hour, right?
Yes, sir.
The paper that they gave me in booking, she said it was $3,150.
So, like I said before, because these are set by schedule, it's already like set. The sheriff's department is required by law to add certain fees on, and those are things that I don't have control over, and I don't even see it. So when I set a bond, they are required by law to add those fees to it. So the number that you were given by the sheriff's department is the final number.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
Yes,
do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Williams. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me?
I don't have any holes or anything.
Let me see. The way you asked that question sounds like you may know the answer. You're just trying to verify.
Oh, no, I know I don't got none. I'm just making sure that y'all, I don't need her to pay no bond and then they take her money for nothing. 'Cause we got a baby on the way. I can't be wasting money. The lady downstairs told me if I had a hold that they would have told me, but I don't have one because I've been doing everything right.
Well, if they didn't tell you, you have a hold, then you don't have a hold.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a nice day.
You too. Your name, sir?
Eric Stanley. How you doing today, John?
I'm doing well. Okay, Mr. Stanley, you're charged with 1 count of loitering or prowling and 1 count of crossing the roadway at other than a cross sign, which is basically jaywalking. Your total bond is going to be $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Your Honor, I can post a bond. I have the money on my account now. Well, I don't have it in cash, but I have it on my debit card. I just don't have any family members here or anybody that'll come down and bond me out or sign me over. This is my first time being arrested, my first time being in jail. Your Honor, is there any possible way you would be able to give me an OR or a signature bond?
We don't give OR signature bonds here. So you're gonna have to either go through a bonding company or pay the whole amount in cash or use property.
So my bond is $1,500?
Yes, but like I told the other gentleman, the sheriff's department is required to add fees. So it's gonna be a little bit higher.
Can you tell me the approximate amount? Because if I could pay the 10%, then I have the money on my account now. And like I said, I don't have anybody that'll come and bond me out or that'll sign for me. I don't have any family members like that out
So
here.
you can, yes, you can go through a bonding company. The sheriff's office has a list of the companies that are approved to write bonds here.
But will they accept the money that I have on my account? Again, because I don't have a co-signer, I don't have a girlfriend, or nothing out here.
Most likely, yes. And the reason I say most likely is because I don't work for the bonding company, so I can't tell you their policies, but there are a number of bonding companies and their job is to basically get you out of jail. That's how they make their money. So I'm certain that they're going to work with you.
There's not a way, because I know that these are relatively, small misdemeanors. There's no way that you can signature bond me or OR me out today?
No.
So what would be the next step?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me what the next steps would be?
When you leave this process, you're going to be allowed at some point to use a phone. I would ask for the list of the bonding companies and I would call. And as I said before, I'm certain that they'll work with you. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Stanley. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me?
Do you know how soon because I haven't been able to use the phone. If I'll be able to use the phone or not?
After this, yes, you will.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Brandon Rutledge. I'm sorry, I'm kind of short.
Oh, no problem, Mr. Rutledge.
Well, it doesn't go up any further.
Hold on 1 second.
No problem, sir. Take your time.
Let's see, Mr. Rutledge, you're charged with 1 count of public drunkenness. The bond is set at $1,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Absolutely.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 13th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
How much, do you know how much you make per hour?
I make $20 an hour.
Okay. You qualify, Mr. Rutledge. Going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
I'm curious as to like, is there going to be a problematic issue with like my family coming from Tennessee to possibly perhaps bum me out? Because I was on my way to Dallas for work from the airport. So like I really, although I was born here, I have no family here. All my family's back home in Tennessee.
So if they're coming to kind of post your bond like in cash, there will not be any problems. If they're going to go through a bonding company, they may have to talk to a couple bonding companies because some bonding companies don't want to write bonds for people who live out of state.
Gotcha.
Any other questions?
Is there perhaps like a designated set time of amount of holding for this charge or no?
No, not here. So in other jurisdictions, they have such volume that they're just trying to get people out. And they'll have courts running all the time, and they'll have people brought over for, they say, look, I just want to plead guilty to this now. And they'll say, great, we'll deal with it now. That doesn't happen here. But there are, before the whole COVID stuff shut everything down, there were calendars, I think, that ran every Monday where people who wanted to plead guilty on misdemeanors, they would get placed on that calendar, and then they get their issues resolved. But I don't know if that's going on right now.
All right, well, I have no further questions, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Hi.
Ringo.
Mr. Ringo, you have been charged with a number of driving related offenses. And I've set bond on all of the misdemeanors, but you have 2 felony charges, possession of firearm by a convicted felon and fleeing from a police officer. And there's an indication that you're on probation, so I can't set.
I'm not on probation, Your Honor. I don't even live in this state.
Okay.
Indication where? I never been on probation.
Hold on. I'll look it up and I'll tell you.
I had an interstate compact, but it was closed out.
Hold on, Mr. Ringo.
Yes, sir. I was on probation years ago. I had an interstate compact I paid. They been closed that out, Your Honor. Years ago. About 2 years ago. And my probation in Baltimore City is up. I had a probation in another state, but it's up also.
Sorry, one of my screens went out.
Okay.
I don't report to nobody in Clayton County. I'm off of probation in Clayton County. I don't have probation in no states no more, Your Honor. What can you tell me the bails on the misdemeanors?
Sure.
Altogether?
Let's see, 2,500. So for the misdemeanors, it's the total is 7,500.
Okay. And if you could show that I don't have no probation in Clayton County, you could set up, I don't have no probation period, you could set a bond for the felonies?
Yeah. It'll be 10,000 for the firearm and 5,000 for the fleeing.
Okay, so that's what, 22 altogether?
Yes,
15
sir.
plus 7? Okay. I'm not sure if I can post it, but it's 10% of that is like 2,200,
right? Yes, sir.
Okay. I could just try my best. I don't work, but you know, I got a family, and I just think that I want to thank you for looking into it and setting a bond, because that at least gives me a, you know, a chance. So thank you for that, Jan.
My job is to do what's right. Jesus.
So it's set at 22,000 altogether?
No, I haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh.
Power went out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do they have my court date set?
It'll be April 14th.
Okay.
I have to go into several different files. It's not just something that I can just simply pull up. I have to look for it.
Yeah, because I'm positive, Jan, I have no probation.
Well, I'm saying, I'm certain I looked, and I'll tell you what I was looking at when I can get to it.
Well, I had interstate. I came from another state, Jan, 3 years ago. I had an interstate compact, but they closed it out because I had a violation, a technical violation for missing a date. And I had to answer to Baltimore, and Baltimore, I guess, and Georgia, they couldn't agree. So I guess Georgia just went ahead and closed it out, and Baltimore ended my probation. I had a probation officer named Mr. Parker at the Clayton County Division, and I called him when I found out I had the warrant. I said, "Sir, do you want me to come turn myself in? Because it seems I got a warrant." He said, "Mr. Ringo, your probation has been closed out up here." That was over 2 years ago.
Did they send you paperwork?
I'm not really sure they sent me no paperwork. I think because it was Baltimore. I'm in a Baltimore probation, so they was, you know, interacting with Baltimore. But I called my probation on the phone, and they just, you know, he closed it out. I ain't had to report no more or nothing. And I went ahead and well, I haven't even been. I had my people in Baltimore told me that my probation is closed out because, you know, I'm out of state. And I completed all my time. I had 3 years probation. I did the 3 years. It's over with. I came home January 2018. January 2021 made my 3rd year in Baltimore probation. I didn't even have that up here. I had that for Baltimore. And that's closed out. That's the only thing that linked me to Clayton County was through my Baltimore probation. But they had closed that out before Baltimore even decided to close it out.
All right, I'm getting closer. Okay, so looking at the Maryland right now, we have 25 total pages.
Yeah, but I'm not on probation. I'm not on probation though, Your Honor. I don't have no Clayton County probation or no more out-of-state probation, parole, nothing, Your Honor. I gave them everything they asked me, Your Honor.
Mr. Ringo, we're gonna stipulate that you do not believe that you're on probation. You don't have to keep telling me that.
I understand. I just don't want them to, you know, when I know I'm not.
Okay, it says on June 2nd, 2014, you were sentenced to 20 years in prison, 15 years suspended, and 3 years probation. So the 15 years suspended means that you're on a suspended sentence until 2029.
No, I'm on probation. The 3 years, I had 3 years probation. Once the 3 years is over, it's closed out. My 3 years is over, Your Honor. It went up. My 3 years is over. They then closed it out.
So the suspended sentence is what I'm looking at. So a suspended sentence, it's not probation, you're not in prison, but you're still under sentence.
I'm not under supervision though, Your Honor. If I did it, okay, this is what I just want to explain. If I did the 3 years, right, and they close out the probation, if I get picked up, do I still have the 15 years hanging over my head?
Yes, you do.
I've never heard that.
Okay, so this is how a suspended sentence works. A suspended sentence is something that you don't serve. Like you can get 5 years suspended sentence and walk out the courtroom. You don't have to report to anybody. You're not in custody. But if you get arrested again, that suspended sentence can be pulled back.
Okay, so when you come home, they give you a time period that you have to report, right? So say you had to report for 2 years.
Okay, so okay.
If you get arrested within that 2 years, I thought that's when they can bring up the 15 years.
No, you don't have to do anything on a suspended sentence. You don't have to report. You don't have to be in custody, but you're still under sentence.
Well, if they closed it out though, Your Honor, so if they closed it out, what steps do I take if they closed it out and I don't got to report to nobody?
Okay.
I thought it was closed out.
I'm gonna say it one more time, Mr. Ringo. You do not have to report to anybody on a suspended sentence.
So if they tell me it's closed out, then what do that mean?
Your probation is closed out, but
I'm not on probation.
Okay, so you're not getting bond on these two offenses because you're under a suspended sentence. But I don't say probation. You can get bond. I just can't do it at this point. Because if Baltimore says, hey, he's got a gun, he's still under suspended sentence, we want to bring him back. And we're gonna put him in jail to serve the rest of his time under the suspended sentence. Or they can say, we ain't gonna do anything.
So okay. This is my first time, and I've never heard of nobody still having probation when it's closed out after your time you serve. I've never even heard of that.
Okay, you're not under probation. You're under a suspended sentence.
Okay, so so what steps do I take to try to get a bail?
All right. Give me a second. So what your lawyer can do is contact the people in Baltimore that put you under this suspended sentence and tell them, look, he's been arrested. And we want to know if you're going to do anything with his suspended sentence. And if they say no, then you get a bond.
How would my attorney puts in for a bond hearing?
Okay, so if you hired a lawyer today,
I didn't hire one.
No, listen.
Okay.
Well, today is Friday, but Monday the lawyer can call up there and say, I'm Brad Gardner, I'm a lawyer, I'm representing Jeremy Ringo here in Atlanta, and he's being held because of this suspended sentence. I need to know if y'all are going to do anything about this. And they say, no, Mr. Gardner, we're not going to do anything about it. Next phone call is to the district attorney's office and says, look, my client is under suspended sentence out of Baltimore. I contacted them. They're not going to do anything related to him. He has a bond set on other offenses, but not these felonies because of the suspended sentence. We want you to consent to a bond. The district attorney will either say yes or no. If the district attorney says no, then you have to wait until that bond hearing date.
When is my bond hearing date?
April 16th.
So at the bond hearing date, right, it'll still show that I had this suspended sentence, or will they give me a bond?
It still shows that you have a suspended sentence. So the reason that this statute was put in place is so that, like, you were arrested yesterday, right?
Yes.
So if this did not exist and I gave you a bond and you get out of jail and you say, man, whew, I know they're going to come and get me, so I'm going to disappear. And so they say, well, look, we got to put something in place to slow this down so that at least we can make a determination. And that's why it's in place. And that's why I can't do it. But the next judge can, or the district attorney can consent to it. That's the reason. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So do you want me to appoint you a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
I'm appointing you a lawyer. You're going to have that April 14th preliminary hearing date and April 16th bond date. But like I said, this can get worked out.
It could be worked out.
Yes, and I hope you understand my explanation as to why the law doesn't allow me to set a bond at this hearing.
No, it's okay. I just, what's my lawyer? Do you have my attorney name, or who do I get in contact with?
Well, because it's a felony, it's going to be assigned to the Clayton County Public Defender's Office. If you are trying to move this quickly, it may be better for you to hire a lawyer.
No, that's okay.
Anything else? Anything else, Mr. Ringo?
No, thank you.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, sir.
Rosarius Patterson.
Mr. Patterson, you've been charged with 1 count of obstructing an officer and 1 count of loitering or prowling. I've set the bond for the obstruction at $5,000, and I've set the bond for the loitering or prowling at $1,000 for a total bond of $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 13th, and that date will be waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Patterson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Deputy Mohammed.
Hi.
We have no one left in our room. Did
Okay.
you miss anyone?
I'm sorry?
I have Bullock right here, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So it looks like we have Neptune and Bullock.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Deputy Muhammad, you can log off.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Muhammad.
You too, sir. Have a good weekend.
You too. Okay, and this is Mr. Bullock. Mr. Bullock, you've been charged with 1 count of reckless driving, 1 count of driving under the influence, 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, and 1 count of an open container violation. You're going to have a total bond set at $17,000. Do you believe you can post this bond?
No, sir.
Okay.
Well, maybe.
Okay, I would encourage you to reach out to the bonding companies to see what they are willing to do. I'm sorry?
Will I be, would they allow me to pay, like, if I get like almost all the money or something, like, and just get on a payment plan or something?
Some bonding companies will, and that's going to be something you're just going to have to contact them and explain, you know, your situation. But like I've said throughout this thing, the only way they make money is by bonding people out of jail. So if they can figure out a way that they don't see you as a risk, they'll do it. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for April 14th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, boy. Huh. Here we go. Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, sir. I was gonna ask, how much was the bond again?
17,000.
17,000.
Yes, for the driving under influence, the bond was 5,000. For the possession of a weapon during commission of a crime, it was 5,000. And the felony drug charge, it was 5,000.
So is that 17,000? That's 1,700.
Roughly, yes.
Plus the little taxes that they had.
Yes.
1,700. Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
One more question, sir. One more question.
Yes.
What bond? I mean, what court date was that? You said April
the 14th.
14th. Oh.
Yes, but that date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you get a new date in the mail.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Neptune? Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, and that's a misdemeanor. You've also been charged with a felony count of obstructing an officer and disorderly conduct. I've set the bond at $3,500 on the 2 misdemeanors, but I can't set a bond on the felony obstructing an officer charge. So I've set a bond hearing date for April 16th and a preliminary hearing date for April 14th. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Was that a yes? Okay. Well, I'm going to appoint a lawyer for you, Mr. Neptune. And if you want to fire that lawyer, you can.
Sure.
If you don't have any questions for me, then I'm going to let you go back.
I have a question.
You can speak now.
May I hire Storm Bernstein?
You want to hire your own lawyer?
Yes.
Okay.
25th and Broadway in Manhattan. I have no contacts up there, but they are my natural lawyer. They're my natural. Storm Bernstein. They have my own information. They settle lawsuits.
Okay. You can hire Mr. Stromberger if that's what you want.
Is he part of Storm Bernstein? So? Is that person part of Storm Bernstein?
Deputy, can you help me out? I can't really understand him.
Sir, I'll let him know, sir.
Okay. All right. Mr. Neptune, you're free to go back. Well, it wouldn't be anything if it wasn't a Friday.
That's it? That's all, Your Honor?
That's all. Ms. Adamson, I'm going to call you about Mr. McLaughlin. Thank you, Deputy. You have a good weekend.
You too, sir.